Let's now discuss the import of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit to Nigeria. He's already left for a three-nation tour, the first stop being Nigeria. To talk about that, we are being joined by Mahesh Sachdev, former Indian High Commissioner to Nigeria. High Commissioner, such a pleasure to have you on DD India. We know this is the first visit of an Indian Prime Minister to Nigeria in 17 long years. And in 2007, we know both countries had raised the status of their bilateral relationship to a strategic partnership. And our diplomatic relations have also transformed from a historical partnership to strategic partnership. Tell us, what kind of promise does this visit of PM Modi really hold for bilateral ties?
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure. I believe that this visit is both opportune as well as full of potential. India and Nigeria have very cordial ties. They are already fairly substantive, but there are areas which require renewal, and both countries have evolved over the period of 17 years, and therefore new complementarities, new drivers need to be located, and I think Abuja summit tomorrow would play a seminal role in redefining the relations and taking it further upwards.
High Commissioner, throughout the decades from 60s to 80s, teachers and doctors from India did play a crucial role during the formative years of Nigeria, if you may put it like that, after its independence. A generation of Nigerians today in their 40s to 60s have been taught by Indian teachers and also treated by Indian doctors. So what role have people-to-people ties played in cementing the bilateral ties?
I think you raised a very important issue, and this aspect has played a very important role in bilateral ties. First contact between Nigerians and Indians were probably when they were kids going to the school or being treated by an Indian doctor or otherwise engaged with an Indian professional. Indians are the largest non-black community in Nigeria even now. Their numbers are 50,000 plus. And many of them have been there for more than a century. They migrated mostly from Sindh and Gujarat to West Africa and have played very important role in economic and social terms. These have defined the bilateral ties for a long time. And now there is the need, when Prime Minister, who is very savvy in engaging diaspora, goes there, he should be able to motivate the Indian diaspora to play a more active role in promoting bilateral ties, act as virtual bridge between the two countries, and realize that aspect of soft power of India.
Also, High Commissioner, there are more than 200 Indian companies we know who have already invested, say, around $27 billion in important manufacturing sectors. And these companies are also, importantly, the second largest employers after the federal government of Nigeria. And bilateral trade, we know, is to the tune of $15 billion between India and Indonesia. So what scope of expansion do you see in the domain of trade and investment?
I think this is a very important aspect for the visit. The bilateral trade peaked in about a decade ago at $17 billion. Right now, it's less than half of that value. Main reason that it has come down is because India has reduced its purchase of Nigerian crude, which used to be the mainstay of the trade. Because alternatives which are more competitive, both from technical and economic side, have been found, say, in Russia or shale oil in United States, which is of the same quality as Nigeria is, Nigeria's own crude is. So now we need to find new drivers to arrest this decline and stagnancy and take the trade to a higher level. there are various possibilities, including buying other items from Nigeria, supplying the inputs that Nigeria needs, such as wheat, rice, milk powder, etc., or cement, or other things, textiles, which India is well equipped to supply. And consumer goods have their own role. Then again, if you go to the softer side of exchanges, we need perhaps to think in terms of more active promotion of service sector to Nigeria, education, healthcare, social infrastructure building, institution building, etc., can play a very important role. The country has infrastructure deficit, which it would like to ameliorate with India's help. And they were very interested in our model of building roads by concessioning the contractors to run the road later on, after highways have been built, at no expense to the government. That model can work in Nigeria. Again, another complementarity between the two countries could be palm oil, for example. We spend $9 to $10 billion every year importing palm oil, which can be got from Nigeria, processed locally or in India. Nigeria currently has surfeit of palm oil, but it doesn't have processing capacity.
Okay.
So something like an Amul model, collecting palm oil, processing it locally, and then exporting it to India could work wonders to support the farmers, to also revive this sector. Hides and skins is another area. Nigeria has large number of hides and skins, but it doesn't know where to sell. India has a thriving leather industry, which can help. Both sides can perhaps at a wider level negotiate a comprehensive economic partnership agreement. With the kind of trade that is possible, this would certainly serve the purpose. Nigeria's own domestic industry can produce goods for India, and India's consumer goods and other foodstuff, etc., can enter Nigeria with greater ease. So this would be a win-win for both sides.
Interesting, in agriculture is a sector of cooperation between India and the whole of the African continent. Remains to be seen whether this can further get more boost and have spin-off benefits in terms of trade and investment. Well, on defense and counterterrorism, how do you see the present and future of India-Nigeria ties?
Well, our defense ties are age-old. Right from independence of Nigeria in 1960, till now, 7 of the Nigerian presidents were trained in India at various times as defense officers. And they have retained those fond memories of being in India, for example, and have created a groundswell in India's favor. India was India's only foreign foray in establishing a national defense college was in Nigeria, which is still working and producing Nigerian officers of caliber. Now, at the moment, Nigeria has headwinds with regard to security and defense. The area is rife with Islamic terrorism like Boko Haram, oil bunkering, piracy, and the neighborhood is full of hotspots like Niger and other areas, Mali, etc., where there are rebellions and Islamic insurgencies, etc. Nigeria being the largest country in ECOWAS, the West African Union, is expected to play a leading role in defending, securing that area. And it would like India to be on its side once again in defense sector, to be able to do so. And I think as a fellow democracy, multi-ethnic and multilingual society, it should be in our interest to do so. The entire gamut of these possibilities rests on financial facilitation and creating contacts and connectivity.
Okay.
There's currently no flights to Nigeria. There are no direct shipping links to Nigeria. All this raises the cost of doing business with that country, and it's no wonder that our trade has been declining vis-a-vis countries that have these kind of excesses.
So a lot of
one
potential
would like
there.
to also recommend that we work on connecting West Africa directly with India to facilitate trade and people-to-people contacts.
Interesting. Towards the end, with Nigeria playing an increasingly active role in the African region, in the African Union particularly, could it play a key role in bringing India and Africa together and closer?
Of course, it can. Nigeria is the largest country in Africa. Until a couple of years ago, it used to be the largest economy of the continent. And it was the largest trading partner of India in its heydays when the trade was 17 or 15 billion dollars. So why not? I think with the goodwill that we enjoy in Nigeria and the substantive ties, as you have yourself mentioned, $27 billion of investment, 200 Indian companies with footprints there. This can happen, and this should happen. Although one would like to suggest that we focus on Nigeria in the first place, creating a win-win synergy with this largest country of Africa, which can act as a role model for other countries to follow.
We leave it at that. High Commissioner, such a pleasure to have you on DD India, and thank you so much for putting into context for us India-Nigeria ties in relation to Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit to Nigeria.